well as he ever has, including the year he was unanimous choice for league MVP. He's made 31 threes this year. The only player to make more through 6 games is Steph Curry, who did it that year that he was the unanimous MVP. And he is beloved everywhere he plays. And so, Stephen A. Smith, the question is this: has Steph Curry become the most popular player in the NBA?
I believe he is. I understand we're going to mention LeBron, and we should. But I think that when you look at the babyface assassin, he is the greatest shooter God has ever created. I've never seen a shooter like him in my life, and it's incredibly entertaining to watch. And then when you consider the personality that he brings to the court, where he's shimmying and dancing and having a good time and all of this other stuff, you just can't say enough of what a magnetic attraction he is. And not only that, he's only 6'2", 6'3", and you look at him, the kids out there that are watching it, they believe they got a shot to be him because he ain't 6'9", 250. If I can get out there and work on my jump shot, maybe I could be Steph Curry too. And last but not least, when he's so dynamic. When I used to go to the Oracle to watch him, I used to get mad that when they introduced his name, he was already in the circle with his teammates. I want you to wait and walk out so we can all see you walking out the way MJ and Kobe used to do it. To celebrate this brother every single night. He's that special.
He is that special. I'm going to do something I rarely do, go to some metrics. Jersey sales, right? If we look at that as an indicator, Stephen A., I know it's not the only one, but you still got LeBron on top.
Okay.
I'm told Giannis is 2. I think Luka's 3. KD is 3. Luka's 4, and Steph maybe 5 or 6. But the point here is, remember, you've got internationals now who have worldwide popularity in Giannis and Luka. So I don't want to overlook that and the impact they have now, literally, globally. There's no NFL star. Tom Brady didn't have that. Those guys have that. But by the end of the year, Steph, with the way the Golden State Warriors are going, and you mentioned that demographic, I mean, from what, 8 to 20, I got somebody at home in that age group, 13 years old. And Steph Curry, he walks around with the Steph Curry, workouts and the skill set. So
I got a stickers. I got Steph Curry stickers. I do.
Jalen, is he the most popular player in the world?
Are we seriously having this question right now?
Yes.
Are we talking about who kids want to be like?
Yeah.
Did we say who 8-year-olds want to be?
Yeah.
LeBron James, 8 to 80, blind, crippled, and crazy is the answer to this question.
They can't
and it's
replicate.
not even close. As a matter of fact, Steph Curry, while he's second, LeBron James is the most popular athlete in any sport. And y'all know this.
Well, I believe he's here now.
Commercials, social media, all age groups, shoe sales, the list goes on
But here's what I think you're missing. There's no denying what you're saying is right about LeBron right now because of what he has built. I'm just basically stating, what I'm stating is if you had to start at the starting line right now this year, and you put those two up against one another, where are we by June? That's what I'm looking at because I think that Steph Curry is that special.
Those Steph Curry fans, y'all know who they calling the GOAT? LeBron James.
They may call him the GOAT,
and he deserves it.
But that isn't necessarily the question. My very unscientific research says that my 19-year-old son and all of his friends, Steph is by far their favorite player, has been for a long time, and they would follow him from team to team the way LeBron's fans follow him. But they don't have to do it.
I agree with Greeny. The thing is, Jalen, they can't replicate anything on a court that LeBron can do. Right. The thing that they are so fixated on and has made him sort of the face of this newer generation, 8 to 18, 8 to 20.
Shoot our game in just a moment, but we start with the NBA story everyone is talking about. The opening tip, Scottie Pippen. His book comes out next week. An excerpt today published in GQ in which he clearly takes great umbrage at the way he was portrayed by Michael Jordan in the films The Last Dance. He said, "I watched the doc at home in Southern California with my 3 teenage boys. Couldn't believe my eyes. On second thought, I could believe my eyes. I spent a lot of time around the man. I knew what made him tick, how naive I was to expect anything else. Now here I was in my mid-50s, 17 years since my final game, watching us being demeaned once again. Living through it the first time was insulting enough." Michael was determined to prove to the current generation fans that he was larger than life during his day and still larger than LeBron James, the player many consider his equal, if not his superior. Those again coming from Scottie's autobiography, which will be out next week. Jalen Rose, Scottie clearly feels aggrieved. Does he have a reason to?
Scottie Pippen is exactly right. And I know his name is being slandered nowadays in rap songs for reasons he can't control. But for the basketball player, he said one of the top 50 players to do it. 10-time All-NBA defense, 7-time All-Star, 7-time All-NBA, 6-time champion. And Michael Jordan won a grand total of how many championships without Scottie Pippen? None. And it's a disrespect nowadays when you call somebody Robin. Oh, wait, Scottie Pippen's the poster child for that as well.
Stephen A.
Scottie Pippen is one of the greatest players in NBA history. We all recognize it, and anybody who knows basketball knows that. He knows that. At the end of the day, he's wrong. He's being, a lot of people talk about empathy and what have you, but the reality is you're throwing Michael Jordan under the bus. In the book, you called Phil Jackson a racist. You're throwing him under the bus. You went after John Paxson. You seem to have an abundance of targets. And in the end, it ultimately comes down to you, because from a basketball perspective, there's nobody that can question the greatness of Scottie Pippen. He's one of the all-time greatest NBA players, clearly one of the greatest defensive players, but he was the one that signed a contract that he should not have signed after being advised by the owner, Jerry Reinsdorf, not to do that. He's the one that refused to report into a game when Phil Jackson called Tony Kukoc's number of the year. Michael Jordan retired. He's the one that sat up there and said, excuse me, I'm protesting a contract that I had agreed to sign years earlier, so I'm going to delay foot surgery, all right, and jeopardize our last dance. He did all of those things. You have to own that. That's not about Michael Jordan. That's about you. And I respect the hell out of Scottie Pippen. It's just that these are the facts.
Scottie Pippen, I've been saying for 15 years, is the most underrated player of the last 35 or 40 years. And I still feel that way. Underrated.
Agreed.
But Michael he's not the guy who underrated Scottie. You know what I mean?
I agree with that
I've
too.
never, in all the conversations with Michael, on the record, off the record, on camera, in the locker room, I have never once heard him say anything that would lower the position, the standing. He is one of the great players of all time, and others may have underrated him, but I don't get the part about Michael underrating him.
All of these things can be true at the same time. He can be an all-time great player and still feel as though he is underappreciated. I guess the question is, does he have a right to feel as though he was portrayed in a wrong or inappropriate way in The Last Dance, and in particular by his legendary teammate?
Well, coincidentally, I love Jason there. As a matter of fact, the first documentary he did for ESPN was the Fab Five. As a matter of fact, he's a really good friend of mine, and the documentary did a really good job of depicting The Last Dance. Now, if you're Scottie Pippen, you could say, man, you ain't have to put the year in there that you ain't play for the team when I ain't going the game, because a lot of people didn't know about that. The reason why Scottie gets underappreciated, you guys, is because he was literally in the shadow of MJ so much that he didn't get to have great moments. Like, did Scottie Pippen ever make a game-winning shot in the playoffs?
Yeah, one in Washington. I was
mean?
there for it, yeah.
You see what I mean? So the moments that he now has is basically the moments like, go ahead, with Tony Kukoc.
Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Jordan retired after the 93 season, his third time. Last time I checked, Scottie Pippen had an opportunity. That Chicago Bulls team could have won the championship. He didn't report in the one game, which was game 3.
That's game not the game that killed the Bulls.
Game 5, Hugh Hollins with the bogus call
Hubert Davis.
in favor of Hubert Davis.
Yep.
Yes, I get that. But they did lose a game 7. Okay, and that's it. The next year,
how did he play that year?
He played great. The next year was the MVP of the All-Star game. The next year, he comes back, and Michael Jordan comes back with 17 games left. But they were nosediving. The reality of the situation is that Scottie Pippen did have an opportunity to showcase himself without Michael Jordan, and he came up short.
Question.
Is that not true?
So let me show you what Scottie means by, like, being disrespected.
Okay.
Take yourself back to circa mid-90s when you're one of the top 5 players in the league, and MJ's making over $30 million, and you only making $3 million.
That is not accurate.
That's when the disrespect started.
Yeah, but that's not. You want to target that Michael with that?
No.
We might need to look at people's representatives.
I don't blame MJ for that happening. I'm saying that's when the disrespect of his name started happening.
Stay with me, my brother. Stay right here. Okay, listen to me.
Final word.
An employer, the owner of the team, comes to you and he says, Jalen,
don't sign it.
Don't sign this contract. You'll be worth more in a year. And I will never renegotiate with you once you sign the contract. Don't sign it. And Michael Jordan said, you heard the owner, don't sign it. And he didn't listen. He didn't listen. Who call is that?
Hey, let me tell you something. When I was a free agent in Indiana, at 11:59 and 9 p.m., they faxed over my deal. We ain't playing those games.
Wait, let Chicago have the last word.
I'll be in there Saturday in person
35 years later, 35 years later, we're still talking about this. They won 6 championships together.
And tragically, Scottie Pippen does not seem to take a lot of joy or pleasure in the memories that they created together that created so much joy for so many other people. All right, we've got a great one coming your way tonight. We've got the Hawks and the Nets here. James Harden had himself a triple-double on Sunday. We'll see what he has in store against Trae Young and company coming up. And then as we roll on this program, we